Listen, friends, we've got a bit of an emergency when it comes to the housing market. That's probably already apparent to you, but let's look at why and let's actually look at the numbers and then make some predictions for the future. By the way, my name's Sarah. I've been selling properties in San Diego for almost 17 years, and I would love for you to subscribe to this channel. It's all things real estate. If you know anybody that is looking to buy or sell in San Diego, I'd love the referral, by the way. Now let's get into the actual meat of this video. Let's go back to 2020 for a minute, shall we? This was one of the craziest markets I've ever been in. As I mentioned, I've been selling properties since 2009. 2020 was a market where we thought we were going to get shut down as an industry. In fact, for 2 or 3 weeks, we were not allowed to go and show properties. And then everything just exploded. We had this pent up demand. We had ultra low interest rates. We had a housing shortage, and we had a ton of people that either needed to move or really wanted to move because now, for the first time, they were able to because they could work from home. And now they were choosing where they wanted to live when they didn't have that option before. But what has happened since 2020? Well, the prices of homes across the United States has increased somewhere between 45 to 55%. I want you to really consider that. To me, that number is really insane. That number is concerning because we're talking 6 years. So what we're seeing a lot of right now in 2026 is a significant lack of affordability. So let's start with like that, 50-ish% increase in home prices. How many of you have had an increase of about 50% in your income in that amount of time? And what about our expenses? How much all of the other expenses, such as utilities and the cost of food, have gone up during that time? So many home buyers are having a lack of affordability when it comes to purchasing because the price of homes went up much faster than their incomes increased. And then right now, you're in a market where the home prices are still quite high, but so are the interest rates. And a lot of times those are kind of opposing each other. So for example, if you speak to somebody that says something like, back when I purchased my first home, that interest rate was 15%. Okay, they're right. But that was a really long time ago, right? And what were the home prices then? You're probably talking about $100,000 purchase, $50,000 purchase. So the disparity between those two things made it so that there was still some level of affordability. But now you have interest rates that have gone up. Yes, they've gone down since they were in the eights. As of today, they're in the high fives. You're looking at sixes lately. But that's still relatively high for the price of homes right now. Then you add on insurance. Homeowners insurance, the cost of homeowners insurance is drastically increasing throughout the United States, especially in areas like Southern California, where I am, where some parts of Southern California, your only option is to get government subsidy insurance through California Fair Plan. So what is the profile of people who are actually buying homes in 2026? And I'm not talking about any of the protected classes when I say profile. I just mean like who is able to actually afford buying homes? Well, right now, what we're seeing a lot of, it's not necessarily first-time home buyers with no help. We're seeing first-time home buyers with a lot of family help, significant family help in some cases. We're seeing multi-generational family purchases. So first-time home buyers with their parents, sometimes even with like multiple different parties, not just two groups. And we're seeing a lot of move up home buyers, so people who already owned a home and now they're going to be selling that one and moving to another home. So what can we predict for the housing market in the next couple of years? Well, first of all, understand that we could be totally wrong because we don't have a crystal ball. So here are some of my thoughts, and come back and let me know in a couple of years if I was wrong. I do not think that there is going to be a massive crash, but I do think we're going to continue to see kind of this just leveling off, this stabilization, a situation where a lot of people want to sell their properties, but they're not getting what they want for their properties, price reductions, rising inventory, some people not able to sell because they don't have equity. But keep in mind, all of those things are not the same market as 2009, where we have a ton of foreclosures and a ton of short sales. That's still a very different market. I think we're going to continue to see deals for home buyers. I think over the next 5 years, we will see a slow and steady increase in home prices, but I do mean slow. And I think we're also going to continue to see this migration that is natural, where a lot of people who are currently renting properties end up moving to different areas where they're more affordable so that they can purchase properties, maybe areas in the Midwest or Northeast. As far as interest rates, I think that is one of the toughest things that we could try to predict right now because of the fact that our country's at war. That has increased the interest rates since before we were at war, and we don't actually know what's going to happen with that. So there could be some significant changes. It's just too tough to comment on that at this point. But what do you think is going to happen in the real estate market? What are you seeing? If you're in real estate, tell me what area you sell houses in and what are you actually seeing going on in your specific market. Those are just my thoughts for April of 2026. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.